What's up? So did you guys see that giant robot versus monster fight? Because I actually didn't. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't around to cover the event because I was actually on vacation with the Z-House guys, but that does not mean that there is nothing left to talk about. Because recently there have been a ton of secrets and hints getting revealed, which I believe are suggesting some things that are going to happen in Season 10. And while a lot of these are based around the aftermath of the monster versus robot fights, that's not it. There just seems to be a ton of stuff which has been popping up, suggesting at all sorts of different things. And so today in this video, we're actually going to be looking at 8 secrets which hint at what is to come in Season 10. Now, I strongly want to urge you guys to stick around to the end of this video, as these last 2 theories are really insane, but really good. So it'll definitely be worth it. Other than that, just subscribe to the channel. If you don't, I will robot mecha arm punch you off the island and off the planet. So do that. Anyways though, guys, let's do it. All right, so starting things off at our number 8 theory, I actually wanted to dive deep into what is one of the most popular theories going around. This is the Season 10 time travel theory. There have been a ton of people speculating on this theory, so I thought it would be important to get it out right at the start of this video. And that is that people think that Season 10's theme, instead of being a rift between worlds, is going to be a rift in time. So let's hop into this theory. Now, ever since the end of that epic robot versus monster fight, there have been some fishy things going on around the map. Now, the first thing and most important to note is just what actually happened to the monster. So I'm sure you guys all saw the robot supercharged himself up with the energy of the vault using that sphere. He took the sword and drove it through the monster's head. Harry Potter style. Kind of. Anyways, what happened after that, though, is very peculiar. Now, when it comes to Fortnite, Epic has been known to make things happen over a realistic amount of time. When the meteor landed at Dusty Depot, trees grew, but it took a long time for that to actually happen. And I think everyone knows what I'm talking about when I say that that building at Tilted Towers took a realistic amount of time to be built, and then built again, and again, and again. But what I'm getting at is this is not what actually happened with the body of the monster. What should have happened, you asked? Well, it should have slowly decayed over the weeks. But instead, it seemed like as soon as that sword, charged with that energy, went through the monster's head, it just instantly started aging. Started aging at a ridiculous pace. And what's even weirder is moss started growing on it at a, again, ridiculously fast pace. So this has got a lot of people speculating that perhaps with this sort of new energy actually dispersed across the map, or at least in that central area, that time is being sped up and manipulated. But that's not the only thing. If you look at the overtime challenges, we see Bunker Jonesy aged. And the weirdest thing of all is Stratus's red version. If we think about the world as time and space, we have the purple version of Stratus, and he tracks space. He's a storm tracker. The other version of Stratus actually on his armband says time. And perhaps he has the ability to track, manipulate, or even circumvent and go back in time. And this has got a lot of people thinking that Season 10 is going to be based around time travel. This could mean old POIs returning like Moisty Mire, the prison, or even OG factories. And what's even crazier about this theory that does lend itself to it is the Hop Rocks seem to be using the same energy that this sphere is using, and the Hop Rocks created a rift in worlds. So what if this extra energy is going to create a rift in time? Something much crazier. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going around, but this seems to be like a very solid theory. All right, now I know that was a lot, so I'm going to throw you guys a few smaller theories here just to kind of help you digest that last one. All right, moving on to number 7, we have the FORTNITE poster. Now, I'm sure you guys have looked at this a lot, slowly, grudgingly going through your FORTNITEs, collecting each one, and you've noticed that this poster has slowly turned into something. Now, I'm actually thinking of doing a full video on what this entire poster means, but for this, I'll leave it here. Essentially what this poster, or I guess image, represents is Jonesy's attempt at explaining the entire storyline. And it shows literally everything that has happened. It's got everything from the rocket launch to the cube, all the way through to the monster versus robot fight. But what's so interesting is in the very middle where he's actually located, it's hidden. There seems to be a great big circle that might be hinting at what is to come, and a lot of people have started to speculate that that is actually the case. It's like Jonesy has been able to piece every single thing together like a big detective board, and the middle is what's holding it all together. Some great entity like Singularity maybe, or the Visitor, or something even bigger that we don't even know about. And while there's no conclusion to this yet, there are a ton of people thinking that this is going to get revealed what Jonesy is actually hiding, I suppose you could say, and it is going to relate to the Season 10 storyline. It makes a lot of sense, and it would actually be very cool if Epic was hiding what is going to happen there in plain sight. All right, now moving on to our number 6 spot, we've got the obligatory bunker post. All right, so that gosh dang bunker has been the bane of my existence on this channel since it ever... I don't even know when it was released now. I've honestly forgotten. I've forgotten, and I don't care. But now there are 2 bunkers. There's one over in the desert, which was where the Wailing Woods one was, and there's also one in the winter biome. Honestly, I don't really think that anything is going to happen with these bunkers, and I believe that it is really truly a troll. But we are making a theory video, and the bunkers have always been theorized so heavily, I could not at least include it on this list to get you thinking about them once again. Anyways, moving on to our number 5 spot, I want to talk about the vaulting of weapons. Because while not related to storyline, this is super important. Almost every single season, we see at least one weapon vaulted in the very beginning. Usually a few weapons are taken out and a few new weapons are added in. And Nylander_17 actually thinks that it's going to be a lot of guns being removed. He's actually suggesting that it's going to be 6 weapons, and furthermore, that it will be one of each weapon type. So if you guys go into your logger, you obviously know that when it comes to the wraps, there's a spot for each weapon type. And he was suggesting that maybe these are going to be the weapons that get removed. It's very weird because these 6 weapons all seem like weapons that have a very high chance of actually being removed. So for the AR, we have the Tactical Assault Rifle, which is a weapon that hasn't really been loved much and is, in my opinion, quite insignificant. The Shotgun is the Combat. This is a weapon of high controversy that many people are very frustrated with, and I could absolutely see this being removed as well. For SMGs, it's the Burst, which I think no one would be surprised if this got removed in Season 10. But then we have the Sniper, which is the Heavy Sniper. If you think about it, we just got a new sniper added into the game. So this could make a lot of sense that they don't want to have too many snipers in the loadout, and they might actually remove this as well. There's been a lot of controversy around people really not liking this weapon, saying that it's too overpowered, that 150 is way too much damage, and again, I could absolutely see this being removed. It's just been in the game for so long. We then have the Deagle, which really serves no purpose when you have the revolver in the game as well. Like one or the other, but not both. And last but not least, the Proximity Grenade Launcher, which I think we can all agree needs to go. And what makes it very weird is, like, for example, the Proximity Grenade Launcher was added in after they had redone this for Season 8. But the new Storm Sniper didn't replace the Heavy. So it would be very cool and very interesting if Epic was actually hinting that these 6 weapons, all of them, are going to get vaulted in Season 10. I honestly wouldn't be surprised at all. Now moving on to our number 4 theory. This is a pretty simple one, but I've seen a lot of people talking about just the possibility of the robot returning. So the robot in Singularity just beat the monster and straight dipped. That seems very weird to me. Like, why? Like, Singularity literally just ripped her biggest power source out of the ground and it was like, yo, bye. Now, this could possibly be because she knows that it's going to explode and destroy the island, which we'll get into. But to me, I just feel like it just leaves the possibility for this dude to come back in some sort of saving way. And while there's no evidence to suggest anything, I think at the very least, it would be surprising if that was the last time we saw Singularity. All right, but speaking of that sphere, we're going to get into it now. The sphere has been at the root of most of these theories, so we've got 3 that we're going to go through. The first is the Grand Unvaulting. Now this is a very interesting idea. So we know that what's down there below the sphere, or what we can start to already call the 0 point sphere, is the vault. We know the vault is down there, and we know that it is possible to enter in. So people have been playing with the idea, and I've been thinking about it myself, that, you know, what if what's down there is going to all come out? It's not just going to be a single weapon being unvaulted, but imagine if the sphere is going to explode or fizz out or do something that basically opens up the vault. And instead of us only having like 15 minutes to get in there, we can just go in and unvault everything if we want to. Or maybe it just unvaults itself in a grand explosion, bringing everything from the vault back. And it could very well not even be everything. Maybe it destroys some of the things in the explosion. But a lot of people have been toying with the idea that, like, hey, the vault is down there, it's got to do something. So while a grand unvaulting might seem a little bit out there, I think it's still in the realm of possibilities, at least to some extent. All right, but now we're going to get to the theory that you guys really want to hear. And it's kind of a two-parter, so I'm splitting it up into 2 points, but basically these are very connected. You can almost think of this as being the number 1 spot, but we're going to call it number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you the 0 point theory. Now, to understand this theory, we have to go all the way back to season 4. So if you guys remember, there was a cleanup crew cleaning up all the hop rocks around the map. They then took those hop rocks to the villain base and loaded them up into the rocket, which was presumably fuel. A message was then revealed saying that the 0 point oscillators have been turned on. It's pretty obvious that the source of the rocket's energy were the hop rocks. These were so powerful that they created a rift to another universe. And this was only like 3 dump trucks out. So a lot of people think that this is what we can look at as our first viewing into 0 point energy. Now we now know that the sphere in the middle of the map is called the 0 point. And in that giant fight, we certainly got to see how much energy was stored up. The robot was able to throw the monster across the map, pull the sword out, and kill this goblin crazy monster thing with a single whoop. He was getting destroyed before he started using the 0 point energy. But now the 0 point sphere is in our realm, and it's clearly unstable. So just think, if 3 dump trucks full of hop rocks were able to create that much energy to open a rift in time, imagine what a giant sphere of 0 point energy could do. There's even leaks in the file showing that it's going to continue to become more unstable and volatile. And what if it's going to explode? I mean, we really didn't see a lot of changes to the map after the rocket fight, which was presumably because of the upcoming World Cup, but there's still a lot of possibility for a big map change. We could even possibly see the entire map wiped out, which interestingly enough, I may have talked about in that video. So while a giant explosion is very probable, that's not the only possibility. Bringing us to our number 1 point, which is this: the season 4 rocket is going to return. All right, so we know that the 0 point energy from the hop rocks is able to create rifts in space. And we also currently know that the rocket is in what's known as the in-between, which I'm actually going to talk about in a video coming up. Think of it as like not its own dimension, but kind of like the in-between to other dimensions. That's where the rocket is right now. Well, what if the 0 point energy from this sphere is going to open up again another rift? And what if opening the rift again returns the rocket? I love this theory so much. I love this theory so much because it's not just simply blowing up the map, but it's something that looks all the way back to season 4 and finally wraps it up. Imagine season 10 begins with the rocket coming through the rift and destroying our map. Dude, that would be beautiful. That would be absolutely amazing. Also very sad, but very amazing. Singularity could return and use time travel to maybe reverse everything, and we go all the way back to season 1. Some crazy things could happen. But at the end of the day, that is just a theory. An 8-part theory that is getting very long. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end it right there. Thank you so much for making it all the way through to the end of this video. Please let me know what you thought. Do you subscribe to any of these ideas? Do you think that there's something else that might happen? Please let me know down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Follow me on Twitter and go check out these other 2 videos. Thank you for watching. Peace. And in that